We are live, and one more edition of the Dugout is finally upon us, and it's come after two very interesting results have panned out in the space of 13 hours. One, India beating the USA and have ensured that India are the third team in the Super 8s. USA are therein and thereabouts, but for Pakistan, this result was a godsend. But in Group C, you have seen New Zealand crash out. I mean, all but out. They can't. They had to hope for a miracle in that Afghanistan lose to Papua New Guinea.
PNG.
But that isn't happening. So that is why New Zealand's proud decade of having made it to the playoffs on a lot of occasions is over. 2024 has seen New Zealand succumb to that. So before we get to the main topic that is at hand, okay, the qualification scenarios now are pretty simple from each group. You've got, except for, you've got all the qualifiers, 4 qualifiers have come from all the groups. India, Australia, South Africa and West Indies. We now await 4 of the others. USA or Pakistan, that will be the key from Group A. Scotland or England, because England are taking on Oman today. So what will be that? Afghanistan and West Indies are most likely looking as C1 and C2 respectively. But D group, man, that is really a group of death, because the current match that's happening between Bangladesh and Netherlands at Arnesvale in Kingstown, that has been delayed. Now, if that game gets washed out, then Sri Lanka have got a chance. If there is any kind of result, Bangladesh winning or Netherlands winning, they're out. Sri Lanka can't get to 4 points, they can only get to 3.
Yeah.
So all hopes are there for the remainder of the 4 games. Tomorrow is a crucial game, USA-Ireland. And with India and all the other teams now ending their New York leg, you're now going into Lauderhill. And Lauderhill, unfortunately, the visuals that Siddharth Gulati showed, that's been shared on social media, there is a lot of, you may say, flood alerts have been issued.
Lightning too.
It's not looking good.
And as soon as the game is washed out, you'll see even Pakistan being knocked out of the tournament.
If USA-Ireland gets washed out, then Pakistan are knocked out.
And even if USA win the game, if by chance the game happens, and as of now, I think everyone knows that USA would start favourites in that game. I think by quite a margin. So even if they end up winning the game, it's going to be done and dusted.
Now I think the figures don't matter much, because see, US's net run rate is below Pakistan.
Yes.
Looking at it, 0.191 and 0.127. Now, if Ireland beat the US and Pakistan thrash Ireland, then and only then, and they can get through to the Super 4s.
But if US win their final match against Ireland, then they are through, irrespective of the result of the final Pakistan game.
Yeah.
Okay, before we come to Pakistan.
Even if it's washed out.
Yeah, even if it's washed out.
Before I come to Pakistan.
The reason for that is that Pakistan cannot reach 5 points in any next scenario. The best they can get is 4 points. That too if they win the next game.
And even in Group B also, that even if one of England's 2 matches against Oman and Namibia is washed out, then England will be eliminated.
Yeah, Scotland will be B1.
Yes.
And Australia will anyway be B2. Now, as far as the situation is concerned, we'll come to Pakistan a bit later. What's gone wrong with New Zealand? I mean, losing by 84 runs to Afghanistan was not just bad enough.
Given your allegiance to the team, I think you are the best position to be able to answer that.
I mean,
amongst all of us.
I mean, see, this golden generation, if you look at it, I mean, it is a golden generation. Williamson, Southee, Bolt, Ferguson, they have been through for 4 to 5 years now with the team.
Yep.
They have suddenly lost their mojo at the worst possible time. All of them together. Williamson has been absolutely woeful. He had one brief peak in T20
single digit scores for him, imagine.
Yep. Now that is the reason why it is not happening. And look, how could you give the final 2 overs to Daryl Mitchell and Mitchell Santner?
Exactly.
Because you had most of your premier bowlers bowled out.
That's the thing. What would have been hailed as a tactic about 5 to 6 years ago that tactic backfired.
That was hit, but in a different format.
And I also feel that Kane Williamson can't be batting so loud down the order in a T20. And I think again the same problem there also that is there with a lot of teams, including India. I feel that's my personal opinion that he doesn't have that game to be part of the T20 side. For New Zealand also Kane Williamson, because firstly
he has to be batting where what Gujarat were doing, top 3.
No, but the problem,
otherwise it's a problem.
You know what the problem there would be? The same problem that Pakistan is having. Ideally in the Pakistan scenario also, somebody like a Babar should be batting lower down the order, but then he wouldn't make it to the side. I think it's the same with New Zealand, that somebody like a Kane Williamson, apart from the top 3, wouldn't make it to the side. But here, because he's leading the side and the difference is that they are batting top in the top 3 there. Here he is, and he's more playing for the team, whereas they are playing for their position. That's the difference in mindset. But if we look at it that way, then Kane Williamson might not make it to the side, because you have a Glenn Phillips and everyone who could actually give that impact to the New Zealand side.
Now, see, because of that, in 2 games, Williamson's fallen to spin. One to Rashid Khan and today to Gudakesh Moti in that sense. So, Williamson just hasn't found going, and the captain doesn't perform, the rest of the batting also doesn't perform. Today, you've seen both games where New Zealand lost, the batting didn't step up one bit. And they will be especially livid for the fact that you're 76 for 7 and 112 for 9. Yet you allowed 37 runs to be plundered of the last 2 overs, 19 of Daryl Mitchell, 18 of Mitchell Santner. So that is why those 37 runs ensured, and you lost by 13 runs. A 135 score would have been chased by New Zealand, but then they didn't do it. So that's why New Zealand's elimination, they have only themselves to blame. Plus, they didn't come to the West Indies much before, they didn't have a warm-up game. But I don't know whether
they decided not to have one.
They decided.
They were one of the few teams that decided not to have warm-up games. That option was given to all teams. Take India for example, took 1 game. Take Australia for example, took 2 games even when they didn't have the personnel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pakistan, they didn't take any game because
they played a series versus
England.
England also didn't take.
So lack of game time was their choice.
Yeah, and that's why it's come back to bite them in a big way. Because see, Guyana and Charuba, the 2 venues which were slow, sluggish wickets, the batsmen clearly looked out of it. For example, how good a warm-up game would have been for Devon Conway. Yeah. Conway didn't play a single game in the IPL.
How 4 runs today? 4 runs?
Yeah.
He failed in both the matches.
Failed in both, yep. So that's why Conway's rustiness, failure from Williamson, plus Mitchell not contributing, Ravindra not contributing, and some very dodgy tactical decisions have ensured that New Zealand are staring down the barrel. I mean, they can't make it to the playoffs now.
Plus,
they can't make it to Super 8s.
3 changes for this game also was a sign of pressing the panic button.
Yeah,
so
that's
any which ways, I think New Zealand were slightly underconfident to begin with.
Yep. Plus that jersey.
How's that to blame?
That jersey is to blame. I mean, look at it. Whenever the only exception was 1999. Okay. Whenever they have worn that jersey, they have always struggled. Always. They played in that one match versus Australia in that 2020 game. That same retro jersey was there. They were hammered at Sydney.
But looking at the larger picture, I think it's a good thing for India, because we all know teams like New Zealand and Australia are the teams who...
Yes, let's face it. I by the way, at this point, will have to admit, I wasn't giving India a chance of making the top 4.
Now even I do,
Now you see all their bogey teams are out.
Yeah, exactly.
England could not be possibly there.
But England isn't a bogey team.
It is. You lost to them.
You lost to them in 2022.
But your
New Zealand is a real bogey team because you've not won against them in the World Cup.
Ever.
T20 World Cup
but
ever.
3 possible oppositions: Australia, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh. More than likely, they'll be the 3 oppositions. They're not going to be, easy
your
to
one
battle.
game in St. Lucia's.
I agree. While I agree,
Bangladesh,
because Bangladesh had you on the ropes in Adelaide last
Yes.
year.
Yeah.
We
Then
all know
Afghanistan,
was capable
if conditions are conducive, then we know what happened in Mumbai when they played Australia. Spinning
Yes.
conditions, they really made those Australians work a real hard.
Also,
It's in
there was
Barbados.
swing at offer in the Mumbai game also when they played Australia, and till now also Fazal Haq Farooqi is in tremendous form.
Yeah.
So if you were to ask me if there's one team you were confident of, I would say you can be assured of those 2 points against Bangladesh, but the other 2 can be very cagey, very
Absolutely.
cagey. Even then, it's much better a prospect for India than having a New Zealand over there and not a Afghanistan. And if instead of a Bangladesh you were looking at a Sri Lanka, then things could have changed.
Okay, now which team has, I mean, Sid was pulling up a very interesting observation from 7 till 2022.
Yes. Which team has actually dominated in the group stage or the league stage, Super 8, Super 12, or whatever the format was, and then went on to win the title. We could only figure out that there was just one team that has done like really well in the group stage and then went on to win the title, and it's Australia. That's
2021.
Start with 2007. India were actually on the brink of elimination. Then there was a bowl out. They struggled against New Zealand, went on to win back-to-back matches, and then the semi-final final happened.
But 2021, even in 2021, I feel that Australia, it wasn't like that they were absolutely clear.
No.
There was just one match.
They were in the group
Even
of best.
yeah, but in the Pakistan semi-final also, I think Pakistan was the team who started as favorite.
But again, they managed to overcome the odds in that. I mean, only one loss. And they were in the much more tougher group. It was Australia, South Africa, England, West Indies, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. That was a very tough
group. Yeah.
So that's why Australia to won despite that was a testament to their brilliance. And you look at 2009, Pakistan, they didn't win a single group game, somehow scraped through and managed to win the remainder.
Then 2010, England did not even win a game in the group stage, and yet they qualified for the Super 8 because their net run rate was better than that of Ireland. Then 2012 was West Indies. They were off to a very shaky start. Then the semi-final and final happened.
By the way, Scotland will now become B2?
B1.
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 B2 is Australia. India, Australia.
Then Australia, technically, taking off from what Siddharth just pointed out, then Australia don't finish on top. Because they're seeded in such a manner. So maybe you Siddharth, you were talking about stars aligning. Now, in terms of that alignment, that's not top of the group finish then. That is second.
But then no, the thing is, which team has really struggled to make it to the playoffs? Which team has struggled?
England has to be one 2010 in this World Cup.
Hardly any, except maybe South Africa.
Has to have, but only 4 teams right now.
Yeah, but then see, I'm saying that okay, we are not. If Bangladesh or Netherlands come through, we know that they are not serious title contenders from Group D. C is Afghanistan, but they had a dominant run.
Yes.
B is Scotland, but then you're not counting Scotland as one of the teams.
But what if Pakistan qualifies?
Then it could be
Pakistan are number 1 in the list.
Which is where I come to Pakistan.
But they'll still be A2, right? In the seeding.
They'll be A2.
Let's face it can't happen again and again for Pakistan.
Yeah,
It cannot happen.
Pakistan
It just happened. I'm just saying the recency of it is such that it can't happen again.
30 years it's been happening. It's been happening for 32 years.
22 they came very close.
Despite that, see, they lost to Zimbabwe. They lost to India, yet they managed to reach the final.
And the problem here, what I think is that all they need is that 2 games should happen. If those 2 games are played, I think they could be the second team from this group. The only thing that is going against them is the rain.
So you are expecting an informed USA to lose to Ireland?
Again,
I wouldn't be surprised.
An Ireland that has looked very less
ordinary.
But it's the same Ireland that beat Pakistan.
Exactly, and you still have
you don't know.
Paul Sterling hasn't.
17 years back.
What? Ireland beat Pakistan just in the T20.
I thought that you are mentioning about
Different
the ODI
format.
World Cup.
Different format. No, they beat them in the
that
bilateral.
that was a famous win, nah?
Yeah.
I thought that you were referring to it.
See, Pakistan, time immemorial, for 32 years they have done it. See, 92 World Cup, they were on the brink of elimination. They got that 1 point. And they managed to scrape through.
And now they have decided to change the batting order.
2009, they didn't win a single game. They managed to beat Netherlands. Somehow they managed to scrape through. 17, they had lost very badly to India. The rain saved them against South Africa, and they scraped through as Sri Lanka, and they won the Champions Trophy.
See, as of now, 90% it is USA who is going from Group A. But the only thing is that it wouldn't be a shocker if Ireland actually end up beating USA. I know they're not in form, but again we talk about T20 and margins. They are so small that it wouldn't be surprising if they. But it would be a really big heartbreak for USA.
Contest. We want some excitement because a couple of your big teams and seeded 1 and 2 are not making taking it to the Super 8. So it
Yep.
is very, very highly likely now.
Yeah.
You might as well just as a Pakistan to add some excitement into the mix. Otherwise, you can already pinpoint, and I know people will say that it's the T20I format, things happen, margin of error is very less, and you don't things change very quickly. Nobody is a minnow, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, if you're looking at serious title contenders or top 4, this is when in current situation we've seen suddenly, let's say Bangladesh.
Yeah.
They had that game to be won the other day against South Africa, but what did they do?
They botched it up.
This is why you need those big teams. Those big
Yes.
teams to be able to, they're the ones eventually that end up getting you those crucial wins. Now, just to add some excitement over there, and that one team that nobody knows how they will perform, how they really, change their own fortunes right towards the very death of the tournament, are Pakistan, the number 1 mercurial team in ICC tournaments. Nobody can predict.
Yep. Now see, if for all that the rain has to stop at Lauderhill, okay? Tomorrow's weather forecast is very bad. 99% chances of rain throughout the Lauderhill
From
area.
98, it's gone to 99 now.
Yeah. 98 is on 15th.
That will clear cut mean that Pakistan will be knocked out.
Yeah.
And Babar Azam recently has even said that we always get stuck with the rain. It was in England also that we weren't able to get too much game time because of the rain. And now also it's the rain that is going to knock us out of the tournament.
Well,
but I don't exactly. Why doesn't is he talking about the fact that you actually lost to USA? If you would not have lost to USA, this situation would not have come.
His own batting has let the team
Exactly.
down. There are liabilities in the form of Shadab and Babar in the team.
Shadab as a
Rizwan
bowler.
as well.
Rizwan also.
Shadab as a bowler.
As a bowler, yes.
Not as a
and also in the bat. I mean, when he had to chip in a very crunch situation, he failed against India. Okay. Don't count the USA thing. That doesn't make. If Shadab is that, he's a minnow basher. But as far as crunch games are concerned, the batting hasn't.
No, but
stepped
how
up.
many players actually are able to stand up on crunch situations?
For Pakistan, none.
No, not for Pakistan, worldwide also. There are like very few players who actually, we can recall of players who have actually stood up on crunch situations.
Kohli.
Ben Stokes, I would say Ben
Butler.
Stokes.
Kohli, Butler.
So we can count them on
Hardik.
Hardik's been your consistent.
Yeah.
Kuldeep.
With that.
Kuldeep,
Kuldeep.
Yeah.
Bumrah,
Then
Shami.
Warner. Marsh.
Travis
Travis
Head.
Head, so we have to count.
Travis Head.
Twice now.
Yes.
But anyhow, let's see how things pan out. Let's just also at this point to welcome Nikhil to the chat as well, who's joining us for the last time from New York, I believe, Nikhil.
Yes. Last time from New York, because we are heading out of the Big Apple. The stadium for which crores was spent is going to be dismantled. They'll bring it down. And that ground, though, will continue to be there. Interesting, bit about that ground. The local cricketers who play there, minor leagues and all of that happened. They asked that why don't you leave that pitch that you were to send from Australia but was made in Florida, but nonetheless a drop-in pitch. So they said, why don't you leave the drop-in pitch here? So they're asking for some, $1 lakh or something like that. I forget the figure, that if you want that pitch to be left there, because there's maintenance and all of that, which will have to be carried on for a year, some very heavy cost they gave them. So the poor guy said, forget it, yeah, you take that away. So they will now have a concrete pitch. They put a concrete pitch and then they put mat. Also because you get harsh weather here, right? In New York, it snows in winter, so very tough to look after the pitches. So yeah, cricket done in New York, quite overwhelmed with the support and the amount of people that really turned up. It was interesting. I never expected it, that it will be this crazy and people would be following the sport or loving the sport this much. But incredible scenes. Yeah, moves to Florida. By the way, I was looking at social media and all the Pakistani handles and journalists who are there in Florida, they're putting pictures of nice bright sunshine today on the eve of the game, saying, "Dekho, धूप आ गई hai. We will, Kudrat ka nizam is going to happen, and it's going to give us a chance to, play the game. But I will trust Siddharth the weatherman over all the pictures that come from there because Siddharth, the weatherman, says that it is going to rain there, then it is going to rain there. So maybe sun is out today, which is good news, by the way, because me and Vikrant are here. We're going to be leaving shortly for the airport. We'll at least get the flight to go.
Yeah,
Complaining about India, thoda sa weather kharab hota hai, the flights don't take off here. Yesterday, some journalists, poor guys, waited 6-7 hour delays of their flights in the USA.
Wow.
Because there's flooding there in Florida.
Correct.
And so flights cannot land, and so their flights did not take off. Today at least it's sunny, so at least our flight will take off on time and we'll reach there on time. But can I be honest, I was looking at the news, the article, flooding meant like little bit of water has come. I was like, I wish I could show them, like
Mumbai,
the pictures
Delhi.
of monsoon. I forget monsoon. If I showed them Delhi and Gurgaon during monsoon, where it's like normal and life carries on, doesn't matter. Like this much water here, no, little bit of like surface water came, and they're like, no, boss, dangerous, stop. There, इतने गड्ढे हो जाते हैं.
The way that you say it, Nikhil, it reminds me of two memes. Hold my beverage. Coming from the fact that you come from Delhi NCR, and the other is आओ कभी हवेली पे हम दिखाएंगे.
आओ कभी exactly. I should tell them that.
Yes.
I should tell them that. आओ कभी हवेली पे.
I know, but it is, the weather situation in Lauderhill is not looking all that great for the next 2-3 days. So, for Pakistan's sake, they hope that the match can happen between USA and Ireland beats the USA. Then and only then they have a chance. Otherwise, that game on 16th has got zero relevance. If USA beats Ireland or the game is washed out.
No, even on the 16th, rain is predicted. So then they need rain not to affect the game twice. Not even tomorrow and not even in their game when they face.
No, 16th the weather is fine.
But it's not clear. There is, I think, 16th.
15th, only till 15th the weather is dodgy. 16th it's fine.
But Nikhil, you mentioned about reporters.
By the
over
way, I
there.
have one feedback for our good man Pawan, who will be the producer. I know that please fix Harshit's mic. His audio is not coming through his mic. It's coming through the mic of a Shashwat or a Siddharth. So please fix that mic. Rest of the mics are absolutely fine. But yeah, just on the subject of the Indian team, rain, not rain, it's not looking good for most of the teams, big teams, England, Pakistan, now New Zealand. It's not looking good. So typically, what's it going to be like? India play Afghanistan, India play Australia, India play then Bangladesh, something like that, or Nepal. Will it be like that?
It depends. If Netherlands beat Bangladesh and Netherlands and Bangladesh lose to Nepal, then you'll see India play Netherlands.
Yes.
So so basically India play Netherlands, India play Afghanistan, India play Australia, right?
Yes.
In whichever order.
Yeah. C1 is Afghanistan, B2 is Australia, and D2 is going to be Netherlands or Bangladesh.
Yeah, so it's either Netherlands, Bangladesh. That's your third game.
Yeah.
Beach mein you're playing Australia. First you're playing Afghanistan. That's how. No, beach mein. St. Lucia.
St. Lucia is the last. Australia.
Last. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So you play Australia. By the time now all you doubters have agreed India is making it to the semi-final.
Of
Giants
course.
said all of you doubters said they won't. Now so it's done, na?
Yeah.
No New Zealand.
yeah, we just touched upon that before you joined. That's exactly what I admitted. And Shashwat alongside me, I think the two of us were the naysayers. Sir, as India's chances in the top were concerned, we admitted that we must say here before it actually happens. You see it happening that the bogey teams are out.
Yeah.
I tell you what, one thing that I guess maybe we can look back, just on top of my head, I'm reminded, every time you have this sort of a format, like first round moving into a Super 8 sort of a format, there is always trouble. I take you back, this was the format that was in 2007 World Cup in West Indies, exactly this format. And what happened? India, Pakistan out, it became a terrible tournament. This format was there in 2021 T20 World Cup, first round, moving into the next round. What happened? India got knocked out. It ruined that tournament as well. This format was not there in the last T20 World Cup in Australia. See, it turned out to be fine. All the big teams made it to or expectedly made it to that semi-final. Every time you have this format now, where you increase, I'm not saying don't have associate nations, maybe take like bigger groups so that teams play enough matches, and then you say, when you have this short first group sort of a thing now, where you play 2-3 matches, and then, which you think is going to be formality, 2 teams you will anyway have in the group which will make the next round. It's just to keep the associates happy that you have these kind of rounds. Every time you have this format, it backfires. So it doesn't become a formality, it becomes a bane for you, bane for the organizers, where there'll be multiple upsets, big teams will be left out. So don't do this format. That's my only advice.
Yeah, I mean, see, I liked personally the 2021 edition. That was, I think,
Super 12.
the Super 12. Every nation played against each other in 2 separate groups, and I kind of liked it. But yeah, India got the easiest of the groups, yet they botched it up. And Australia managed to get through due to a
Net run rate.
No,
South
better
Africa,
performance.
Yeah, South Africa and Australia finished on the same number of points, 5 matches, 4 wins and 1 loss. But Australia qualified because they had better net run rate than South Africa.
Yeah.
But the one good thing that happens when you have a system like this or a format like this is how stories like the USA come about. That the fact that why are USA really, because had they beaten teams like Namibia and let's say Oman in the one group, which would have then had Ireland, if you just cited or put all of those teams based on seeding process, which has very selectively been done by the ICC, then it wouldn't have made for any sort of a news. Now you have this as the biggest headline across the globe is because they've caused this huge upset.
You're wearing your juta. What is happening? Qudrat ka nizam is happening or not happening?
It can. It can. But, even if there's no rain tomorrow, and if I were to punt on a 2020 side, I would punt on the US.
Oh.
No rain, but USA beat Pakistan.
Of course. No, US to beat
Sorry,
Ireland.
US to beat Ireland. Yeah.
Because the wicket there in Florida is something which the Irish may not like.
Yeah.
The ball keeps a little low, skids, and the green card holders know how to play on pitch.
yes.
But
Grit and determination that they've shown. If they could run India globals, imagine what they can do to Ireland.
That's true. But technically, they don't have green card.
Technically,
They are all American citizens.
Technically,
Oh, bada bayan.
Bada Bayan on the 1st of July.
We are coming back to the cup.
We'll be here at the Times Square. We'll be doing a meet and greet, which we promised all together.
Yes.
Yesterday, and we are going to be on the billboards as well.
Have these guys
Just like
seen?
yesterday.
Have they seen our? We were on Times Square.
They ought to know. You can go and check my Instagram, Vikrant.Secretary, and Nikhil. I've tagged you also.
Okay.
So, the story, we were on the billboards.
Times Square.
Times Square yesterday.
And meet and greet.
10:30.
Wow.
The
We have.
next moment of our
We don't know if cricket has arrived, but meet and greet did. Big Nick arrived.
Since it's the first time we managed to have the both of you in the same frame, just a quick question. There's this one story, Nikhil, doing the rounds that certain journalists went from one PC to the other, didn't attend. What exactly happened over there? Could you help us with that?
No. I tell you, no. That may have happened. I don't know. I can't think of an Arshdeep presser which has not happened. So that story is wrong. That people left Arshdeep's presser. Okay. Shivam Dubey did a presser yesterday, but Saurabh Netravalkar didn't do any interviews anyway. So there is this story of Indian journalists leaving Arshdeep's presser and going is not true at all. The only time, yes, in some time. So the only time this thing happened was that few people did Netravalkar's interview after us. So the day we did it, nobody had done it at that time, and there was no press conference that day of the Indian team anyway. But after we had done it, a couple of days later, when the USA team went for practice, a few of them did it at the practice session when the USA team were practicing, but there were no Indian presser. So this is fake news, just as they like to get hits, views, likes. They put out a story and then people keep sharing it without knowing the truth. So this story of Indian journalists leaving Arshdeep's presser to go for Saurabh Netravalkar interview is completely false. Having said that, Saurabh Netravalkar interview has been done by the Indian media. He is the toast of the entire cricketing world, so he should be. That's how well he's performing. Despite the catch that he dropped, which could have been dangerous, who knows, in that situation. But as far as his bowling is concerned, he was spot on. I think I saw Wasim Jaffer tweet where he said that Mumbai should have given him more chances.
Yes,
in Ranji
yes,
2,
he did.
which they did not. So he's the star. The USA team are the story of this World Cup. They've become stars. And as you saw from the fans that I was talking to after the game, a lot of them Indian origin guys just came to watch India hammer US. That's why they were hiding their American identity. They had American flags, American camp, but they were hiding it. But they didn't want to show it. But after USA played the way they did against India, all of these Indian Americans who are now American citizens started wearing their USA cap, their USA flag and everything. So see, this is what the teams do. Imagine if USA were to continue these kind of performances going forward, automatically they'll get a lot of fans. Maybe not, American born and raised, European Americans, if I can call them that, but at least, Indian origin Americans or Asian origin Americans or Caribbean origin Americans, they'll start feeling proud of their team and actually supporting now their country of residence over the country of their ancestors.
Yeah, Nikhil, on similar lines, I wanted to ask you a question the other day, but didn't really get a chance, but I think now is the right time. With the kind
because
of
Harshid and Siddharth don't give Shashwat and Gulati any chance. So poor guys.
I hold
No, Gulati anyway lost today, so it's okay. He has to vent out his frustrations.
Now that nobody's asking the question, I'll go ahead first.
Yeah, I'm asking a question actually. So, so Nikhil, the matches that have taken place in Nassau County in New York. So do you see that the kind of the contests that were on display, like it was India, Pakistan, then South Africa, Bangladesh, South Africa, Netherlands, do you really think that it's going to help in the fan retention of the USA as far as not just this tournament is concerned, but once the tournament finishes, do you think the fan retention thing is going to be there based on the matches that have taken place?
I think it will be, but as I said, depends what fans are you. So you're not getting new fans. Okay, let's be honest.
I'm talking about the casual fans.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're not getting new fans. So again, you're not getting typical Americans who so far have been addicted to the NBA, to NFL, to
Baseball.
Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
All of so not them. They are not come. They haven't really woken up to cricket. It's not happened. Yes, they've. People are talking about. There's an article in New York Times. Yes, people have read it. People who are in the administration, the cops, the train guys, they know a Cricket World Cup is happening because they're part of the organizing committee. So they know something like that is happening. But have they started watching cricket? No. So you're not getting newer fans. What it will do is, as I said, the existing fan base, and there is a fan base for cricket in India based on the expats, as I said, Indian origin, Pakistani origin, Sri Lankans, Bangladeshis, people from Nepal who reside here. We met a few Caribbean origin folks that stay here. They may start watching. I mean, they already must be watching cricket, but they will now start going to games if there were to be more games. So what it will do is, effectively, when they have their Major League Cricket, the internal tournament that they have, where a few IPL owners are also there you might see some of the crowds come, because there is their acceptance there, okay, that our players are. So for example, earlier they would only go if there's some foreign overseas superstar came to play. Now those fans will go for a Netravalkar also, for a Nitish Kumar also, or an Ali Khan,
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones, all of them. So Corey Anderson. So they'll go to watch them. I mean, they have now got the imagination of the existing cricket fan. But are you making new fans? Is the average American who's been here for 8, 10, 12 generations, who had no idea about cricket, is he going to wake up? No. You made some sort of some buzz. Yes, people know it's happening. Yeah, there's a cricket World Cup. They know it, but have they started watching it? No. The short answer is no.
But I think partly because of what you have said, I feel it's also because that the USA cricket or the necessary stakeholders of USA cricket haven't really made the effort to connect with the fans, not just from a physical perspective, but even on the social media also, because that's also one way to keep the fans engaged. Like, you know, if you take the example of the IPL teams, they, you know, work 24/365, and that's how, and we all know that the league just takes place, you know, 2 months in a year. So that's where I think there is some connect with the fans. But in case of USA cricket, yes, they have made the you know, advancements that they need to make by having MLC, by even offering those lucrative contracts to the likes of Unmukh Chand, Corey Anderson, Monank Patel and all these players. But there is no proper way to connect with the fans so that, you know, you can probably have them and even retain them as the things, as maybe the cricket in USA grows. Not just with respect to the ICC World Cups, but even bilateral ties.
No, how can they do it?
But you know, Siddha, yeah, but even my point is that that's a very minor. Okay, let's assume that they have not been on the ball, and you know, USA cricket is in a mess. But again, I don't think, see, social media and all that is on the periphery. I'm looking at the bigger picture. You can have the best social media team do whatever. Does that mean that Americans will start watching cricket? No, it's not happening. It's not as simple as social media engagement or some fan engagement. It's not. These are minor things which will help keep the fans stay in touch. But for you to, I think the biggest thing that can happen is to see, we know of a lot of other boards where cricket is in a mess, how they're managing, their social media game is bad. That's okay. But if the cricketers are doing well, if the team is doing well, that's it. That's the #1 advertisement to popularize any sport. Right now, what the USA team has done is 100 times more than any social media campaign that you can have, no matter what you do. So I mean, see, these are things that you build on later once you have something to play with. What you right now is it's a sport that's not caught the imagination of the American public. Doesn't matter what your social media game is. You can get the best social media managers to put out, not going to do anything. It has to catch the imagination. So you, at the moment, what you're talking about is a micro thing. The micro thing comes only when the macro thing is sorted, right? So it's like, you know, there's flooding in the studio, the water come in. The macro thing is first to plug that hole from where the water is coming. Once you plug that, then you will look at, okay, do I need to wipe the floor? Do I need to use a room freshener to clear the stench in the room? And all of those are later. First thing is plug that hole. So right now, just popularize cricket. That has to, and that's not going to happen with social media. That's not going to happen with anything. It can only happen with a few things. One, and the biggest, if the USA team does well. Two, if your second, third, fourth generation Indians, Pakistanis, Caribbean, they continue to play the sport. So even if you keep the sport with them, the sport will be in a healthy place. What can happen is that they are into sport right now because their parents are into the sport. So they push it into the kids and so they follow. But that's not going to continue because the distance from India keeps getting wider and wider, and they only go there for holidays. So that connect with India is also not there that much, right? It will reduce as the generation goes on. So if you want to sustain that, I'm saying forget getting to a European American person. If you just keep it with the diaspora, which is also massive of the Commonwealth countries, just keep it with them. And only way you can do it is by keeping the US team doing well. So what will happen right now? What is the US cricket story? It is a story of a Netra Valkar who got rejected by Mumbai and came here for work and played. It's a story of a Monank Patel who played in Gujarat but it could not continue because he needed to work and earn his living, came here and then started playing. A story of Agneet Singh, a story. All of these are stories of people who've done. But you know, the success story will be that if, you know, Siddharth Sharma from New Jersey, right, who was born in USA, raised in USA, played minor leagues in USA, club cricket in USA, and then played for USA. So born and brought up in the USA and playing for USA. I think if you sustain this momentum, you will get kids to become, and those kids, as I repeat, will be from the Commonwealth countries only. Yeah. That's all right. That's fine. Don't expect it to, you know, the baseball fan to give up baseball and start following cricket or even follow cricket on the side. That's not happening now. It's not happening for the next 20 years at least. unless something drastic happens. Don't expect the NBA fan to leave that and come to it. Not happening. Just keep the ones who are already interested in cricket, keep them, and have American players raised from the American system and not from, the Caribbean system or the Indian system or the Pakistan system. No, from the US system. Once you start doing that, then gradually, once you get the younger players coming in, then gradually it will spread to other communities as well. Who knows? Maybe if there are 3 Indians who are doing well, maybe a Mexican immigrant's son someday takes up cricket in school because he has few Indian friends who play and he goes on to play for the US. Maybe a European American, who's never played cricket, has a few Indian or Caribbean friends and he plays, socially with them and has that talent, and gradually he comes. But that will happen 20 years later. But just sustain cricket with the community that's following the cricket sport right now. Just keep it to that, and then you have a way going forward. And right now, I see that, and this Cricket World Cup has done that to ensure that the Americans, Indian American citizens now, not people who just come on a green card, citizens, to get hooked to this. And a lot of them wearing USA shirts. That means they aspire that their kids then go on to play for USA, raised by USA. That can happen. And I think that's the biggest thing that this World Cup has done, and the biggest thing this USA team has done with their performance.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah, Shashwat.
that you've talked to a lot of USA players, and a lot of them, somebody like a Netravalkar still has a job in hand. So what did you talk to them about the fact that are they going to continue with their job? Because after this, for sure, it's not going to be part-time for them playing cricket. They are going to get offers from other leagues also, be it the US league they definitely play, but like the CPL, IPL, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like a Netravalkar ends up getting an IPL contract also. So what is their take on that? Are they going to continue their jobs, or are they going to play full-time cricket now?
No, I think they're going to continue the job. Again, I'll tell you something. I mean, again, not a lot of people know about this. It's not been reported. They do not have any contracts with USA Cricket. These guys are not getting any money. Do you know how much money they get paid for each game? They get $250 US.
Yes.
That's it. That's their match fee. That is it. That's the only money they're making out of cricket. $250 US per game. So how many games have they played in this World Cup?
3.
They will play
4.
now. Okay.
$1,000.
7 in total, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So if assuming they go to Super 8, do 250
Into 4, that's $1,000.
Yeah, but if you just look at the initial games in the first round, right? In the first round, if you are going to play 4 games, that's $1,000. So $1,000 they're making. That's it.
That's
For
90,000, 1 lakh
20
rupees.
83,000 rupees roughly.
That's it. So how can you make a living playing cricket? They
Yeah.
cannot afford to leave their jobs. They cannot afford to. They will continue being part-time cricketers. They cannot. Yes, if they were to give, and again, let's be honest, all the other leagues, they play major league cricket and all of that. Also, the sums, the amount are very, very low. They can't sustain. Living in America is expensive. They need to keep their jobs. The companies have been nice to allow them that leeway to play cricket and also manage their jobs, but that's unfortunately the reality. They have to continue with that unless you get an IPL contract or 2, but also must remember that a lot of them are at the fag end of their career. So that's also not going to last too long. So even if they do, they may take a break from work, or let's say quit a work, and if they've got 3-4 leagues to play and they think that they can sustain themselves financially, they have a family to support, then they'll do it. But even then they know that it's only going to last for a couple of years, 3 years.
Yeah.
They have to go back. They have to go back to work and doing what they have. So that's the reality. Yes, that's why I'm saying, if you ensure that these cricketers keep playing and people keep watching the USA team, they keep playing series, then the next generation that comes from the USA, they can then think of, having a career in cricket going forward. As of now, no chance. They can't make that.
I mean, see, you are looking at the broader perspective. I mean, the USA, as mentioned, $1,000. That's it. 90,000 rupees. I mean, if you have to look
So
at
maximum, even right now, you're looking at 1750.
1750.
Because it'll be
more games after.
it'll be quite a push if you're expecting them to finish in the top 4. But
See,
see,
for example,
USD is nothing.
Look, we have to get out of this mentality of the big 3. Like, okay, they have got a settled system in place like India, Australia, and England. England, they have the county, but then look at the West Indies. People who don't have a central contact, who are not T20 freelancers, they have to work somewhere down the line. They have to work part time to support the family. Look at New Zealand. Most Kiwis, they take up odd jobs. For example, I remember there was Blair Tickner. He runs a coffee shop.
Even in England, while you're playing county, you need to be doing side job. I think it's just
cafe,
India is like one of the very few countries where you can actually sustain by just playing domestic cricket.
Exactly. Yes. So that's why the system is there. Associate nations, they don't have that liberty whatsoever.
Yeah, you just compare, and that it just gives you an idea. When you compare these basic things, it just gives you an idea as to where cricketing structures are. See, it's nothing formal over there as far as US are concerned. They were eligible to play this time around. Next time around, they're playing, they're not playing. What the government over there decides, nobody knows about these things as of now. So it's not organized.
Yeah.
Number two, you just make a comparison. 83,000 rupees is what we compared. Indian cricketers are getting up to 15 lakh rupees as match fee for every T20 international.
I mean,
it's running into crores now if you're taking test matches into account. So it's a different ball game altogether. You can't be, and none of these guys, I think it becomes a big call to answer Shashwat's question about whether they will leave their jobs or not. While it appears lucrative for us on the outside, Saurabh Netravalkar, I think, is 31.
32.
So his professional career is still yet to peak, by the way.
Yep.
In corporate jobs, you're looking at 40, 42 as the mark where you're peaking. So he's about a decade away, 5-7 years away from peaking in his professional career. As far as cricket is concerned, he's only going to go down. He's not going to get any better. And none of these guys will become the Gales and the Butlers and the Narayans and the Russells of the world overnight.
Yeah,
they're good.
Anyway, associate, they'll get only 20 lakhs as the base price.
Yeah.
So that is why
and becomes a big call then. MLC doesn't have the kind of money that IPL does, and if an IPL gives you 20 lakh, I don't think MLC is going to give you a lot either. The other leagues as well, if you take that into account, ILT20, CPL, BBL, Big Bash, whatever it is, you put all of those together as well. Are they good enough to be getting call-ups from everywhere? No, I don't think so.
I don't think so that they would be getting offs and leaves to actually be playing.
I'm saying it becomes a very big, I'm saying even if they're good enough. I'm saying even if they're good enough, but at 31, looking at, and by the way, so many of these guys are just 1-2 injuries away, and everything's just done and dusted for them. So. The point being, are they actually good enough for them to consider 40 years of professional life which is left, because they're 25-30 years that they're looking at in terms of working more, vis-a-vis just 2-3 years of cricket that they can foresee right now? Do you look at making so much money that it sort of makes up for the next 30 years of your life? I don't quite think so.
No, but I do understand. Personally, for them, I think the better decision for them would be to actually carry forward with their jobs.
Yeah.
And actually, for that they might have to actually quit the other big leagues, because 2 months leave for the IPL or 2 months leave for the BBL or anything, you're not going to get that. Don't you think that would then suddenly fade away what USA cricket at this point?
See, USA cricket. Look, let us be very practical about this whole thing. This is one artificial prop-up that you're getting with USA cricket doing so well. Please tell me, after July or August, which of the top nations will take USA cricket seriously? Let's be very practical about it. Yeah, we have had teams in the past like Israel, Denmark and all playing in ICC World Cup qualifier.
No, but you know why I would...
in a cramped schedule which is already crying out for some rest and rotation, how will a Virat Kohli and a Rohit Sharma, suppose if India and USA organize a bilateral series? How is it going to happen?
Yeah, I know, I do understand that, but what on the flip side I see is that a lot of players now from India specifically do travel to the USA just so that they can get the opportunity to play for the national side. Yeah. And I think that is going to actually promote USA cricket ahead also.
Look, you are not...
Because not everyone is getting a chance over here, and there are a lot of people who have given almost half of their lives to playing cricket here, and now they know that they cannot make it here. So a better option for somebody like a Milind Kumar and Unmukt Chand, the only reason they actually went there was to play cricket.
But again, this is a very small minority.
Yeah.
The expat minority is just about 10-20%. you are not going to make serious inroads in the
And
US.
Saurabh, by the way, what helped him was the fact that he had a very good academic record.
Yes.
He got a scholarship, I think, at the
Cornell.
Cornell University. So the first idea was to let go of cricket because he was not able to, he had cut. He wasn't able to make inroads in Bombay cricket. He had cut teeth with Bombay cricket. Just getting to know it, he was on the ropes of it, but he realized, and that's what I think his sister also played a role over there in terms of giving him that insight that you're getting a scholarship over there. So the first idea was that he took up the job. By the way, it's only later on that he got to know that okay, there's county as well that happens over there. So the first idea was not in Unmukh Chand's case. Yes, cricket was the idea because it had gotten to that stage now. USA cricket.
Milind Kumar also for the same.
See, now Unmukh Chand is 30. Where is he going to get the chance? And he's not getting any chances in the other leagues also. Big Bash League, how much did he perform for Melbourne Renegades?
Just played, I think, 2-3 matches for them.
There is too much romanticism associated with the fact, and let us be very practical about it. After June 29th, it's not happening. USA cricket is once again going to be consigned into the fringes because the ICC is just not concerned. After July, tell me which teams will play USA, Namibia, Scotland on a consistent basis, apart from their own zonal qualifiers.
Yeah.
In that way. So, this all talk of USA is good, that they have set this tournament alight, but at this point in time, we are like saying before Nikhil has to leave for Florida, Nikhil, heading into Florida, if we get a game, and if suppose rain plays a part, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli are kind of going to go undercooked heading into Barbados. Do you think they can stage a recovery at this point in time, or do you think there is a slight worry?
No, I'm not worried about anyone. Yeah. Who has gotten runs in these pitches? Please tell me that. Who's got runs? You've got runs. Everyone who's got runs has been lucky, scratchy. Not just India, across all teams that have played. So I think that it's not a great assessment. I'm not going to look at performance of each player on these conditions. You heard from Rohit Sharma, who's thanking God that this leg is over. I think in better pitches, that's when you are better off gauging the performance of batter. Right now, it's all been bowler. No complaints about that. But is it a true assessment of a player and his form? I mean, just before getting here, Virat Kohli was on fire, right, in the IPL. There was a reason behind it. He just suddenly can't really have a dip. So I guess, and also with now Indian team having made up their mind that no matter what, we're going to play that brand of cricket. All of that put together, I'm not reading much into it. I will start reading into it when you get truer pitches and then there is a lean form. But having said that, even if you get true pitches, one or two failures, you're not dropping either one of them. So this is something you have to live with it, right? Yeah. So this tournament is so short, they will carry on playing the way they are. We can keep debating whether Yashasvi comes in, one of them gets pushed down. None of that is happening. I think they pretty much made up their mind that this is what they're going to go with. So if they win, anyway, nothing's going to change. Nobody changes a winning combination. If they lose, they'll be in a position where the next game will be a must-win game. And if they're in a position like that, are you dropping a Rohit or a Virat? You're not doing it. So everything else is just smooth. They're going to play. But not, to answer your question, not worried about their form at all.
Okay. So because what I honestly felt in the Virat case, I mean, I don't know about the Rohit one. We'll take it to the pinch of salt, but the Virat case, I think the pitch had nothing to do with his dismissals.
Yeah, I've been the same.
All three dismissals, the three dismissals, the pitch had nothing to do with it. He played you may say an aggressive shot against Ireland, got out at third man. Kind of played very uncharacteristic Virat against Pakistan, where he just reached out for it and hold out to point. Netravalkar's delivery didn't do anything off the wicket. It just angled across and he poked it.
And it was really overpicked also.
Yeah, so that's why, maybe.
But in terms of, I think, expert opinions also, that Gavaskar feels that Kohli, obviously is just one good innings away from getting back into form. But Mohammad Kaif has suggested that Kohli should be batting at his usual number 3 position. Personally, I would say that the template that India have set, I am not, like even Nikhil also mentioned, I'm not really worried about our opening combinations form. And that's where I think India don't really need to, Kohli to push Kohli back to his normal position, because I think it's just the case of spending some time in the middle, because when I think if he gets the chance to open again, which I'm sure he'll get against Canada again, I think he'll probably do well. And but there is no point in changing the winning combination, because things are working for India. You really have as many all-rounders as you can in your 11, so better to stick with the 11 and trust that the openers will come good.
Indeed, indeed. So I think you all echo the same situation, right? Same opinion that Siddharth Gulati has said. And in that sense,
I'm a little concerned about the Indian batting lineup as of now. I was even before the start of the tournament, to be honest. But the biggest worry at this point for me is Shivam Dube, because I genuinely do not feel that somebody like Rohit and Virat Kohli was an issue since the beginning, even before the team was decided. And I was always of the opinion that they shouldn't be in this side. And I still stand by that. And I'm not going to talk about that right now. But as far as Shivam Dube is concerned, I feel that it's the best on these conditions. I don't think he can actually be that dangerous and that impact for the impact you actually got him in the side for. And that's how I would clear. And it's really.
But one thing with Shivam Dube,
it's really shocking that you have somebody like a Yashasvi Jaiswal and Rinku Singh there who are not playing in your 11. Is that it's?
But you were talking about him in such high praise also a month back.
No.
Yes.
I never was.
But the world was. Can you really question his place in the side? Or not, it's
in
merited.
place of a Rinku Singh.
It's merited.
No, it's not merited.
That's to do with
I'll tell you why it's not.
combination. Because the time that you bring in Rinku, that 7th bowling option that he is right now, that goes away.
You saw till in 3 games he's bowled 1 over. Then again, if you have to play players on the basis because they can bowl 2 overs, or
yes,
because
you are. Your Jadeja and Akshar are also there. They are not being regarded as spinners. They are being regarded as all-rounders now.
You are saying that his place is merited. I don't think it's merited, because the only reason here is that somebody like a Rinku Singh has consistently shown and performed on that number. He has performed in crunch situations, and it's not been that he's only performed on flat wickets. In Ireland series, when he actually first time he played, he was the man of the match. Those conditions weren't purely batting conditions. Shivam Dube till now has only performed in the IPL on very flat tracks. I know in Chennai he has had a couple of games, but as far as samples, Rinku Singh has been doing it since a couple of years now. So he was a walk-in this side. There was no question that if I was of the opinion, if Rinku's place had to be made in the team, I would have dropped even a Yashasvi Jaiswal to actually accommodate a Rinku Singh. And the reason for that is that you don't have anyone who can actually go and play that sort of an innings on that position. So that is why I would have picked him up. And now surprisingly, both of them are not in the side. And I do not see this team actually going ahead of the semi-finals.
Yeah.
So you use the whole Rinku thing to just come back to saying that India won't win.
So anyway, let us take a couple of super chats. Nikhil's I think left. So Danush is saying Harshad and Shashwat surrendered. They would have understood that India is in the top 4 T20 teams looking at Sri Lanka, Pakistan, New Zealand.
Of course.
Although New Zealand, it's a big surprise. This time I never expected that they would be so mediocre.
I'm not surprised.
You're never surprised anyways. So that's another.
See, of course, in a group growing forward, and that was the expectation that India would be playing in Australia, India would be playing in New Zealand. 2 teams that have made India suffer in the past, and given the fact India still do have problems of their own, let's not get carried away with what we've seen in 3 matches, of which only 1 was of real value. Let's be honest about
and in
it.
that also you almost.
Whatever it is,
of-
I will be happy. I will happily, graciously accept if India are to win. I'll be delighted. I could dance, I could sing, I could do so many things. If India go on and win and prove me wrong, I'm a nobody in terms of having an opinion in the grander scheme of things. But at the start of the tournament, when you were watching the IPL, when you're looking at the other teams, how groups were made, how the seedings were done, India gave me little hope.
No, but I really want to ask all 3 of you is that how are we expecting things to change? See, since 2021 to 2024, what actually has changed?
Look,
for me, nothing. Virat getting out the same way. Your side is almost the same.
You know, when you will get an answer after June 27th.
Let's wait till then.
You have to wait until then.
Because nothing has actually changed. Then how are you
But
expecting
it'll be the right day to do it. It'll be the right day to do it. I think the answers, and we've spelled out those answers in the past as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you're saying Trinidad is better venue for final than Barbados when West Indies New Zealand happened. Park could be knocked out tomorrow, it could, but Trinidad, yeah, it looks good. The Brian Lara Stadium in the floodlights looks really awesome. But it's decided it's gonna be the Kensington Oval, Barbados. So that's why. Sharan Vinakota, please, we won't take that here. It's very mean. Okay, Praneeth Datta. The lack of form of the two experienced players might result in a type of innings that Rohit played in the semi-final in Oz, which could cost us another trophy. But Praneeth Datta wiped the slate clean. New York is not going to give you any answers. It was an aberration. Now it starts afresh from Kensington Oval.
Yeah. This will have to be, you will have to look at whosoever the winning team is, and if it is one of the teams that played in New York or in the United States the first half of the tournament, there will be a tale of two halves.
Exactly.
Simple as that.
True.
Exactly. All that is now cancelled from 20th June onwards. Your real tournament begins.
And even no points will be carried forward.
Exactly. So probably the big players taking time to find form in T20 is over. Well, see, 20th of June, let's pray now that they all manage to do it. Otherwise, we have seen the script play out in the past, in the last year, 10 years or so. But wow, what a catch that is from Logan Munbeek. I think it was Munbeek, right, Sid, who took the catch?
Lytton?
Yeah, Lytton, Engelbrecht. Why am I not surprised? Zybrand Engelbrecht took a brilliant catch against Papua New Guinea
Lytton
16 years ago.
Form continues.
Yeah. So is that it? These mini super chats? So we are done with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so alright, tomorrow is a big game, USA-Ireland. For Pakistan, they'll be watching that. And as far as the Super 8s are concerned, 4 are done, 4 more to go.
4 more slots left.
4 more slots left. Tomorrow we will come to know 1 slot. And on the 16th, we will know the other 3 slots in that sense. So from me, Harshit, Shashwat and Sid Gulati, it is bye-bye. And from Nikhil also, he's traveling to Florida. We'll be getting you live updates from there. We'll see how the weather is. So subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news. Tap that bell icon so that when we go live, and show us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well.
Bye-bye. Good night. Nandri. Shubh Ratri. Shab Bakhair.
Eat your vegetables
and over to
Don't trouble your
Shashwat.
mother.
Don't trouble your mother.
Say that again.
Don't trouble your mother. I don't.
Bye-bye.